No, honestly, it's very strange because Penny Rambo's been doing. It's going to get noisy. Penny Rambo has been doing interviews, and he's been saying that we'd all agreed to split in 1984. And it's really strange because I don't remember it like that at all. And I remember having a conversation with Penn when we were still going as Crass. And because the catalogue numbers on the records was a countdown to 1984, like George Orwell wrote. And I said, Penn, what happens? And, once it goes beyond 1984, it's like 1985. And he went, like this. So when I didn't even know that was going to be the last gig. But when Andy Palmer said, I don't want to do that more, to me that was quite a surprise. So I had no idea at all. No idea. Yeah, that'd be we did a gig in a place called Exeter in England, and we went in there, and the whole tour had been every night there was fights with skinheads, and I just had out to it, and I went in the bar, and there's these three skinheads standing there, and I just looked at them and I thought, if you make one wrong move, I'm going to be on with it, right? So I'm clearing along with you like this, and also through the door. Come 30 down syndrome children, and they all just rush around like that, so they're hugging and everything, they go up these skinheads and they're like, oh I love you, and these skinheads like this, and also one of these skinheads comes over and went, you're right Steve, how you doing? And they were fans of Crass, and I'd read the book by the cover. Anyway, these Down syndrome kids, they just wouldn't stop all night, and everyone just had such a fun time. And I said to the guy that brought them along, I said, how the hell did you get these kids here? And he said, I just told them, because they were in special school. So I just told the teachers that I've taken them to a concert, but I didn't say what sort of concert. And it was lovely because they all came on after we'd finished. They all came on stage and we let them play the drums. And some of them would sort of just do it very gently enough to be like, yeah, I think that's one of my fondest memories, that. Well, it was just a thing that you did as a kid, every working class place in England, and anyone that you meet, I'm 53, so anyone from my age bracket will say the same thing, that skinhead was just, fashion, you had to get into it. And it wasn't right wing when it started, it was just a fashion, a very smart one. But then there was this, unfortunately what happened, there was this programme on English TV, and they interviewed three blokes who were sort of, I've seen the video since, they don't even look like skinheads. And so the guy goes, well, what do you do as skinheads? And this guy goes, we go around beating up black people and packy bashing. And from that point on, skinhead was right wing, and it was just a media thing. And then it died out, and it became sway dead, and then it became something else. When the second wave of skinhead came out, it was instantly right seen as right wing, and it wasn't helped certainly by people like, I think his name was Mark Dagger. He was a skinhead, an American skinhead, and it's like, they weren't helped by that, and they weren't helped by the British movement in England, and skinheads. And I was really upset by that, because to me, to be a skinhead was that you dressed sharp, you looked sharp, and you acted sharp. You weren't an arsehole, basically. Bonehead. And there's a difference between skinhead and bonehead. No, first of all, through skinhead, I got into like ska music and blue beat, Lovers Rock, stuff like that, ragamuffin. And then I got into Motown, because I've always had a really soft spot for brass sections. And then through that I started listening to Burt Bacharach, because that's got really nice chords to it. And then I got into David Bowie and the glam rock thing, and then punk came along, and I was just into that. Yeah, I think it was when my grandfather was just really ill, and he spent all day in bed, and he was incontinent, and he used to bang on the floor with a stick. and it went on constantly. And my mother, you know, his daughter, used to have to wipe his backside, and it was really horrible. And I remember this one day, banged on the floor, and I went up and I said, "What do you want?" And I was just a grumpy teenager at the time. And he said, "I just want to talk to you." But there was something I wanted to watch on TV. So I just went, "Oh, I ain't got time," and I went downstairs, and he died a couple of days after that. And that's, you know, the poor bloke, all he wanted was a bit of company, you know. But I was young, you know. But yeah, that's a regret I've got, you know. So from that point on, I was like, "No, fuck it, I'm gonna leave people 5 minutes at my time, you know, because you never know." So there you go. Well, it was very interesting. I mean, for someone who never experienced anything like that before, I mean, I come from a very working class background. The first time I went to the Dark House, there were these strange people talking very proper Queen's English, and I couldn't understand what they were talking because they had these so many syllables. But there was something about it's the way they treated me as an equal, and listened to what I had to say. So I was 13 years old, so I kept going back to visit. I mean, it's a lovely place, you know, you could go in any room you wanted to, except the private bedrooms. If you wanted to cook the evening meal for everybody, you could do that, you know, like you know, I helped now and again, you know, if you wanted to wash up, you washed up, or whatever, you know, do painting or whatever. But then through that, there were people like filmmakers or people into photography and things, and these were, or people who were writing poetry, and that they were sort of people I'd never met before, you know, and Mick Duffield, for example, who became the filmmaker for Crass, you know, he used to show his films at our gigs. He worked in Soho in London, which used to be the film, you know, the cinema centre of the
district.
Know, yeah. And they just used to throw away all these reels of film. So quite often they'd bring over these very strange French films, or like Fellini films, or you know, the Italian, you know,
it's really abstract.
Yeah, and I've never seen cinema like that. I didn't understand it. I didn't know, but I would sit there and just watch it, and like, you know, wow, it's amazing, you know, fantastic. It was always a boiling pot. It was always a meeting place, you know. And the pity about Crass was that when we became Crass and we were all living there, a lot of those people stopped going because they didn't feel they fitted in. So, you know, obviously because we were too busy with Crass, but no, it was a fantastic place, fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of pen, and you know, we thought, well, we'll do this thing and we'll play at people's parties, or we'll go around a friend's house and, you know, and we'll shock them. And all this, you know, and we didn't think it'd go any further than the Golden Gate, really, you know, it was just, we didn't take ourselves seriously. Until we did about, I think about the 5th gig maybe, and that was the famous Roxy gig where we got banned. And then we sort of looked at each other and we all said, well, you know, we're writing these serious words, and we said, you know, why are we going on stage falling about like a bunch of idiots? You know, let's straight it out. So we did go straight in. No, we just calmed it down and started taking it seriously. And I think that's where it kicked off from. No, we just didn't, you know, we'd have a couple of drinks before we went on stage, and then we'd do the set, and then we'd get drunk afterwards, but privately. And we, you know, and then we found out people were interested in what we were saying. And it just sort of grew from there. Well, you know, if they could just stop, please, you know, how many times do you have to do it, you know, and don't lie to us. It is about the oil, it is about whatever you get out of it. Don't fucking tell us you're trying to liberate those people because you're not. You're not stupid. And I'm fed up with it, you know. People, you know, it's like people ask me, Steve, do you still feel they owe us a living? Yeah, they do. So I should fucking not leave us alone. Stop bloody starting wars all over the place and let's get on with it. Stop pushing us around, you know. More, what can you say? More stupid, it's horrible. It's always the wrong people that get killed, you know. It shouldn't matter. It's fucking happy. Oh no, I got into punk for the series. No, I'll do some of that. Oh, fucking right, yeah. Anything that's doing that to the authorities is not going to be my ways. No, I was deadly serious about it. The big weapon, you know. I knew I wanted to start a band, but I had no idea of how I was going to do it. My friends that I used to know from when I grew up, all married with kids and stuff, they got into it. And that's why I went to visit their grandmother, and that's when me and him got together. And that was the fun. was take it easy but take it. And if you're drinking and driving, make sure you've got a car.